Hi, my name is Samir, and today I'm going to talk about the price for higher consciousness. What's that price? How you can pay this price? And what is this consciousness all about, especially this higher consciousness? So, before we dive deep into this video in this topic, let's first understand what does consciousness mean? What does higher consciousness mean? And what are the levels of consciousness? So that you can understand the benefits of higher consciousness if you can have it, and what are the perils, what are the hindrances for you to achieve this higher consciousness in your life and live with it, exercise it, and to bring the best out of your life by having this level of consciousness. So let's take an example and talk about this concept so that we can relate to it even more and we can understand it with much more depth. Consciousness is the level at which your mind or you as a being, as an entity, is operating in this world, right? There are different levels of consciousness. Humans have a certain level of consciousness which is much more advanced. It has the capacity to reason, it has the capacity to apply logic, it has evolved level of creativity, it can solve problems, it can act spontaneously, so on and so forth. And this level is totally dependent on the apparatus on which it is operating, which means human mind body system, human nervous system. This implies that human level of consciousness is an output of this mind body of a human being. Similarly, monkey has a certain level of consciousness and they are very close to human beings in terms of genes and DNA. And that is why it is proven that orangutan or other species of monkeys, chimpanzees, gorillas, they have very evolved level of consciousness. They can also reason, they can also be creative, they can also be problem solver. But they still has lesser consciousness than human being because their apparatus is not that evolved and developed. And has a certain level of consciousness. Donkeys has a certain level of consciousness. And insects, birds, lions, cheetah, giraffe, even plants, they have a certain level of consciousness, although they cannot emote, they cannot express themselves. But plant also has this living apparatus and it also functions, it also manages all the system within that tree or whatever it is. So consciousness is the level at which one can exercise their will, their energy, how they can manifest their energy in this world and create matter and create actions. So, on this band of consciousness, which is just a rough idea to give you a basic understanding, if you go to the bottom level, and here in this band, I'm just talking about humans now, because even at the human level, although it appears to be that if you are a human being, you must have the higher level of human consciousness, but that's not the case. Even in this category of human being, you can find animals which are more of like criminals, evil people, devilish people who create all sort of problems in the society, who commits all sort of crimes in the society, who are always against the good thing which is happening and they always vouch for the wrong thing. Criminals, they always go for the wrongdoings. Their mindset actually works in the opposite direction of the welfare of people and themselves. They just want to create all kind of nuisance in the society and in the ecosystem, and they are self-defeating, self-sabotaging, and they create destruction for others as well. So even in this category of human beings, you can find animals and you can find supreme beings like Buddha, Christ, or Mahavir, or any sage or monk who have actually transcended all the problems which occur in human consciousness, and they have actually attained and established themselves at the higher level. So this is the rough idea, this is the rough band of this human level of consciousness. And if you are at the bottom level, this is animal level consciousness, which means it is driven by animalistic instincts. It's like eating, fucking, always going for pleasure, always driven by this physical and biological drive. They have very less power to discern, they have very less capacity to exercise their free will. They are just driven by their hardware. They have no reasoning capacity. And at this level, you can find animals like people who share animal like behavior, like criminals and outliers of the society, which are not good for themselves and for others. And at the top level, you can find people like Krishna, Christ, Buddha, Mahavir, or any sage who has established himself at the higher level of consciousness. How they did that? They did that by paying the price. And we'll talk about the price, what's that price, and how you can pay that, and how you can achieve that higher level of consciousness for yourself as well. In the bottom, there are people who are NPCs, who are just programmed by the society, and they're just doing the routine based work. They don't have the capacity to exercise their free will. They're just flowing with the system. Conformists and slaves. Slaves are like people who are bought into the narrative of 9 to 5 or any set system. They're like followers. They're following the directions which were given by the society, education system, their friends, their family, and they are very pissed by their condition. Inside, they are totally in the mess, but they don't know, they don't understand how to break free from this matrix, from this nexus. So they are the followers. They are following all the footsteps given by them, by others to them, but they don't have that audacity to challenge themselves and to give themselves the new path to follow so that they can create their desired life while they are living, and they are not bought into this prefabricated pattern or template of life, which is just wake up, work, come back, eat, sleep, and repeat. And you'll see in the modern society, a lot of people are like this. They just wake up, they work, they come back, they spend some time with their family, and they sleep. And then the next day, they work again, they repeat the cycle again. And to cope with this anxiety of repetition and this matrix, they develop dependencies on substances, alcohol, drugs, and maybe any other self-sabotaging or self-defeating habit. So these are these followers, NPCs, conformists, or the slaves. So I briefly talked about the levels of consciousness and what consciousness is. And let me quickly give you a tip about the higher level of consciousness, what it is, and why you should be worried about it. If you are making your ends meet, if you're earning money, if you're living a comfortable life, even if you are lying at the lower level of consciousness or middle level of consciousness, why should you be worried about attaining this higher level of consciousness? And the reason for that is consciousness craves for meaning and authenticity in its life and in the body in which it is being exercised. So, if I talk about you, if you have a very comfortable life, if you're living amazingly, if you are earning money, if you have a family, but you are following the set template which was sold to you by the society, what will happen is after a certain point in time, all these objects of your consciousness, which is money, fame, power, all the materialistic accumulation, will fade away. Their charm will fade away. The effect on you of this high will fade away. And sooner or later, you'll find that you are in this life which you find very meaningless, very repetitive, monotonous, and you're kind of boring and you are frustrated why the hell you're not living your life despite having all these objects of this consciousness. Because You bought this idea that you need to live this set template, and you need to be worried about the objects of consciousness rather than the consciousness itself. And the demand of consciousness is not that you fill it with a lot of objects. The demand of consciousness is that you exercise it to expand it so that it can express itself in more meaningful and creative ways. And that's why creative people, artists, are far more fulfilled and happy in their life, even though they don't have that amount of money which a businessman or any successful person has in the modern terms in the pop culture. And the reason is they're exercising their consciousness to expand themselves, to connect with people, and to exercise their free will and their expression, their talent, their natural gifts, their innate tendencies. So, and you can relate this idea with the idea given by Nietzsche, that was, I guess, the metamorphosis, which means as a baby, you born and you come in this world. This baby internalize all the ideas and belief systems of the society and the external environment. This baby then becomes this camel, which is camel or donkey, I don't remember it exactly, which is actually carrying the load of the society in the form of should and should not, must and must not. And they are living this prescriptive life, which is full of baggage, which is full of past conditioning. And they don't know how to break free of it. And if you are lucky, you come to this realization where you become this lion, which is fighting against the status quo and trying to find their right place in this society. And then, after fighting and realization and going through this whole journey, this person again becomes the baby, which means it has all the knowledge of the society, it has all the understanding how things work in this world. But now he has become this baby, which is pure, which is pure and which sees things with this purity directly, without any clutter, without any baggage of the past and conditioning. So that was the metamorphosis by Nietzsche, and that was also the concept which oriented towards how you can reach this higher level of consciousness, how you can reach this purity of a child which is full of enthusiasm, which is full of energy, which sees everything with this fresh perspective and which is not bought into any kind of paradigm, which means it is living its life authentically. But when you complete this journey of metamorphosis, you come to a point when you have all the tools from the society, from this world, how this world's work, and then you become the baby, which means now you know how you are going to work through this world with this authenticity, with this purity, with this clarity, with this spontaneity. So that's about it. Now let's move to this next part of this video, which is the current state of mind which normally a normal human being carries, and this higher level of consciousness. If I talk about this current level of consciousness, this is like a cesspool, a barren land which is full of piss and poop, all the garbage, all the dump of the society, which means it has all these ideas which were sold by others, all the belief systems which were sold by others, all the projections which others projected on you in the form of you are good, you are bad, you are inferior, you are poor, you are this, you are that. All those projections which you internalized consciously or unconsciously, all the paradigms about career, about marriage, about life, about pleasure, about pain, about bliss, about religion, about spirituality, all the paradigms which were sold to you, and all the external information, whatever your head is filled with, everything came from external sources which you internalized. And after internalization, you created this entity which is called I. So, this I, this tendency, this source of your mind, this source of your self concept, your self image, yourself. your mind, your current state of mentality, which always say I, my, me, and it is filled with this packet of information which was fed by others, which means there is nothing in you which is authentic and real, which was discovered by you, which was realized by you, which was exercised by you, which was found by you. Everything came from this external world, and this packet of information which others fed and programmed into you is this cesspool, is this barren land which is full of shit and poop. And sorry. And if you want to get to this higher level of consciousness, which is this lush green field of orchard, which has healthy and amazing trees, which are bearing amazing and delicious, colorful fruits, you have to pay the price. And without paying this price, you cannot achieve this higher level of consciousness. And let me be clear about this. Even if you're at this level of lower level of consciousness where your head is always filled with chaos and self conflict, still you can have a lot of money in your bank account. Still, you might be living a very comfortable life where you have all the facilities, where you have all the conveniences, where you have all the services just one call away. And still, you are miserable. Still, your head is filled with all the chatter, all the anxiety, all the fear, all the dread. And at this level of consciousness, you might not have a lot of money. You might not have all the facilities, but still you are 24/7 blissed out. You're always happy. You're always blissful. You're always content and satisfied. And if you want to go from this point to this point, you have to pay the price. Without paying this price, it's impossible for you to reach the higher level of consciousness. And by paying the price, what I mean is you have to let go of all the accumulated rubbish and garbage through your life, whether it is the projections, ideas, beliefs, all the paradigms, all the information which others fed into you, which created this bundle of I. So you have to let go of all this. You have to let go of the concept of your current self. You have to let go of the self identity, self image, and you have to open yourself. You have to open your heart so that the divine will, the divine Shakti can land into you, can take over your system so that you can live an authentic, real, genuine life. That's the price of letting go. And how you do that? We have talked about the price, we have talked about the levels of consciousness, we have understood this with an analogy, with an example of barren land to lush green fields. And the process or the mechanism is neti neti. It's a Sanskrit word and it's a very famous mechanism or modality in non-dual tradition of India Vedant. Neti neti means you negate everything which you acquired during your past, which was not real or authentic. You challenge everything about yourself, about your perception towards the society and others, about your interest, about your inclinations, about your feelings, about your emotion, about your drives, about your motivations. You challenge and question every single thing. You get to the root of it through the process of investigation and self inquiry. And if you find it wrong and false, something which was given by others, which has nothing to do with your real self, you let go of it. You negate it. You sacrifice it. You throw it out of your system. You just take it out of your system and you purify yourself. That is what it is called, mind purification in meditation. What is mind purification? Whatever junk is feeded into your mind, you just let it go. You investigate it, you check its authenticity, and if you find that it is just something which was programmed by others, and it is just creating more and more conflict and chaos in your mind, you let it go. And you don't worry about what you'll get out of it. The moment you put the baggage off your head on the ground, you're already relieved. You've already got that amazing feeling of light heartedness, lightness, free of baggage, free of weight. Your body automatically starts to feel that relief once you throw that baggage out of your shoulder, from your head, from your body, from your nervous system. Because all these ideas, they're planted somewhere. There's a real estate, there's a land where they were planted years ago, and now they have grown into big trees which are producing poison in the system. And this land is your nervous system. These seeds, these ideas were planted into your nervous system decades ago, years ago, and now these seeds are trees which are producing poison into your system. And unless and until you don't let go of all these seeds, all these trees from your nervous system, you'll not get the relief which a saint has, which is free from any poison, any self conflict, any chaos. And that is what is called as higher consciousness. When your system, when your body, when your mind, when your soul is free from all these poisonous fruits, you become clean and clear. The moment you let go of all these poisonous seeds, you're already getting closer to purity more and more with every step, with every let go, which means you don't get anything out of it. You're already blissful. It's just that you need to remove all the dirt and clutter from the surface. And you can understand it in this way as well. This is the superficial layers which were fed by others into your system. These are all the layers. And one by one, you let go, you negate, you neti everything, and you come to this blissful center, which is the center of Dharma. It is also called Christ consciousness. It is called the diamond mind in, in Buddhism, whatever you want to call it. It is that expanded state of your consciousness and awareness, which is full of relief, which is full of relaxation, which is full of expansion, creativity, which wants to express itself in this external world in the form of art, philosophy, any kind of expression which you have in your authentic real self. So, when you let go all these ideas, initially it's very difficult to discern what is real, what is not real, what is you, what is not you, what was superficial, what is the real self. But as you let go, as you challenge all your emotions, feelings, ideas towards yourself and towards other, and when you understand and when you get to the depth and subtleties of discretion, when you start discarding all these ideas, you create this gap between yourself and the experience you experience through this node of I, which is the conditioned self, which is the conditioned mind. So there is you, the real self, there is this witness, this consciousness, this awareness. In the beginning of the journey, you are one with the content of the consciousness. Whatever happens in your consciousness, it's you. If you are suffering from stress, you are the one who is stressed. If you are suffering from fear, you are the one who is feared. If you're suffering from anxiety, you are the one who is anxious, which means the content, the feeling, the sensations, the impulses, and you are one. There is no distance between the two. But once you start to exercise your discernment and once you start to let go of all these layers, one by one, with the help of neti and self inquiry and investigation, you create this gap. And once you have created this gap, you start to realize that whatever you experience in your head and in your awareness is conditioned. It was imposed by others. And because of ignorance, You used to identify yourself with all the content, with all the ups and downs of the consciousness, all the ups and downs of the objects of the consciousness. And when you create this gap, you realize that you are free from all the neurosis, all the stress, all the burden, all the baggage, all the backlash of the ego. And that's when you get the power to realize your free will, to exercise your free will. And this is the higher state of consciousness, where you are free from all the content of your consciousness, where you are free from all the highs and lows of consciousness, where you are free from the loop of pleasure and pain, where you are not driven by the stick on your back, where you're not driven by the fear and anxiety which occurs in your system, where you are totally stable, established in this still mental state in the present moment, where you understand everything, where your heart is totally open for all the possibilities, and from where you can shape your life in any shape you want. You can take your life in any direction you want because you have realized your free will. You have done the redemption. You have reclaimed your power over your system. And now you are not driven by these parasites, these algorithms, which has taken over your system, your mind completely, which made you think that you are the bundle of this I, which wants something or the other all the time and never gets fulfilled and satisfied, which takes you from one place to another, another place to another, another place to another, next, and it never lets you settle in the present moment and remain calm. So that's the benefit of higher consciousness. And the price, as I told you, you have to sacrifice everything. And once you sacrifice everything, you pay the price and you go from here to here. You go from this animalistic consciousness to this higher consciousness, or maybe from the middle level consciousness to the higher consciousness. You become from ordinary to extraordinary. You become from normal human being to a Buddha or Christ or Krishna. So that's the video about it. I hope you got the gist of this idea, this concept. Just in case if you have any question, write down below. I'll try to revert back to you as soon as possible. See you in the next video. Till then, bye. Take care.